What's going on, Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Consciouztv member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Okay, now you guys know we've been slowly getting back into the content. A nigga been getting his doomsday prep memo together, girl, because the next 3 years are about to be quite the rodeo ride, child. So I don't know about y'all, girl, but I am getting, you know, my backpack and getting my hair and my skin care and getting my body and, you know, getting my environment preparated, girl, for the rapture, bitch, because it's about to be up and stop over these next 3 years. All right. So because I've been taking time to do that, I've been out of the YouTube circuit. So let's run those likes up, whether you are the replay gang, whether you are in the chat active with me in real time, or if you are a butch baby, run me that, because it don't cost you nothing. Also, if you appreciate the kingdom and you like what the king do, run those likes up, bruh. Okay, not run those likes up, girl. You can show some love to the Cash App, $Consciouztv. I want to say / girl. You can tell how long I've been out of this shit. Girl, if you ain't been on YouTube in like days, it's equivalent to being out of the loop for an entire month, girl. Okay, if you love what the king do, run some donations over to my Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. We love all that carrying on. Thank you in advance. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're live, and we're certainly in color. But no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I think I need to cut a little bit more of this curl, girl. Let me just cut a little bit more of this curl. I think I need a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more. I've been living in grandma for whatever was said, I'm on. What's going on, Conscious Crew? Hi, let me speak to everybody in the building. We don't give a fuck, and that's that, period. What's going on, Say Less Astrology? Hey, boo. What's going on, Miss Miko? Hey, boo. What's going on, Just Be Real? Hi, Shink Dea. I'll probably mess your name up, boo, but hey, love. What's going on, Chastity? Hey, Iron Gardner. Hey, Tip. Yes, honey. Your eyes are not deceiving you, baby mother. Baby, it's going down, down, down. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. What's going on, Jalen the Vicious? Hey, boo. Long time no see. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Danielle. What's going on, St. Marquise? Hey, Sandy. Hey, Rumors. Hi, Sherry. Hey, everybody. What's going on, B. Angie? What's going on? What's gooey? Hey, Yolanda. What's going on? Charity to Give. Hey, boo. Hey, Naya. What's going on, Erica? Thank you so much, baby mama. Hey, Jay Ivory. What's going on? Hey, Dancing with Nature. Hi, Spiritual Read. Hey, boo. Hey, everybody. Hey, Miss G. Hey, Miss Jigga. Hey, Crystal. What's going on, King Elite? Hey, y'all. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Sunday. We're here to get into the mess of it all. Church announcements before we get started. You guys know that I announced a few days ago that initially I really wasn't going to get into the Diddy coverage because honestly, girl, I covered that thing down to the ground from the moment that Diddy was indicted all the way up to him being locked the hell up, that I ain't even got no more to give to Diddy, girl. I'm all out of like the Diddy thrill ride. So I was just going to report on the verdict. However, my boy and moderator Uda on the Go, aka One Community, he lives in New York and he's actually been down to the courthouse all week long to get into all this trial stuff. You guys know that in the Diddy situation, they've been getting all of the preliminary stuff out of the way, assembling the jury. It's been all type of drama around that shit. It's a packed house, apparently. It's vicious down there to the courthouse, girl. The media is elbowing the fuck out of each other. Everybody trying to get the exclusive. It's a lot of content creators who are running down to the courthouse, girl. It's a lot of journalists and news outlets. So, you know, it's stirring the pot down there in New York. Well, Uda is going to be coming to the platform all next week to give us loud, live, in-color coverage straight from the courthouse in terms of what's going on in the Diddy trial, you guys, okay? So Uda will be breaking news because he's literally on the damn go. I also want you guys to subscribe to Uda on the Go. I'm going to have all of his information and social media links in the description box below. So you guys will be able to get all of that coverage straight from Uda, girl. He's going to be keeping us update on who's going to jail, who's getting subpoena, who done been found in damn contempt, bitch, okay? Who jumping over benches, child? Who getting embarrassed down there? Who nudes them been leaked, girl? Who sucking dick? Who gonna get banned from the courthouse this year, baby? Okay, you guys know a bunch of raggedy ass content creators went on down there to the Megan Thee Stallion Tory Lanez trial. What, year before last, honey, and had done got thrown out of the top story window, like Jay-Z was about to do Rihanna before she signed to Rock Nation, girl. Okay, so will the YouTubers make us proud this year? Probably not, girl. Half of them hoes done been banned. They're gonna have to view the whole goddamn litigation, girl, from the Jumbotron out in Times Square, grill. Okay. But Uda on the Go, girl. Okay, he know how to act right, girl. He know how to act right down there to the courthouse in front of them good old white folk, child. So we will be getting all of that coverage next week, starting tomorrow, actually. So you guys have to keep your notification bell set to all. And even when you don't get notified, please, 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 please check the channel manually, because sometimes YouTube and don't send out notifications, all right? So you got to check the YouTube page manually to see what's going on. Also, once again, follow me on all handles in the description box below. Also, do you guys like my jewelry? Grill. Isn't it so sickening? We've been doing spell work, girl. Me and my coven have been doing spell work on Trump. I only feel comfortable saying that because the Secret Service can't arrest me, girl, for casting spells and curses, girl. But we got a whole like cone of power situation going on, okay? I can't tell y'all what the spell work is, but I'll definitely let y'all know when it hits, girl, okay? Because we doing some hardcore shit over here in, you know, the Cone of Power 2.0. What's going on, Auntie Jace? Hey, boo. Hey, Simply Charlie. All right, so let's get into the things, you guys. You guys know what we're here to get into. Jay-Z, girl, is not letting up on Miss Jane Doe and her raggedy ambulance chasing Dusty Raggedy need to be disbarred and thrown in prison. Ghetto-ass attorney Tony Buzbee. You guys know that Tony Buzbee sued on behalf of his client, Jane Doe, Jay-Z last year for alleged gang rape alongside his buddy Diddy. You guys know there was zero proof, zero evidence to support any of Jane Doe's claims. She pretty much self-admitted that she was making up the shit. She had no living witnesses, and her daddy didn't even know what the hell she was even damn talking about, all right? This resulted in a goddamn dismissal. That was not enough for Jay-Z, who felt these people played on his name. He lost over $20 million in contracts and sponsors, etc., behind this foolishness and this shakedown by Jane Doe and Tony Buzbee. So he's been suing Tony Buzbee as well out in New York. That is a very interesting case in and of itself. I got some updates for you guys on that front as well. And he also sued the shit out of Jane Doe. Okay. Now, Jay-Z has committed all of Roc Nation's royalty checks, girl, to getting up in Jane Doe's crooked ass. Okay. He put out, well, let me not say, allegedly, girl, some private detectives just took it upon their virtuous selves to investigate Jane Doe and her claims. Apparently, they pulled up to her Alabama trailer park and questioned her, where she can be heard on recording practically admitting that she lied, she was coerced, her attorney put her up to this. Nothing that was a shock to us, all right? This was the second time she done fucked up for Tony Buzbee, okay, when she had ran down there to NBC, girl, and told the folk she was lying to things, girl, okay, that he had to get in her ass then. Well, because Miss Jane Doe is a very special person, okay? She rode on a very, very short bus growing up, okay? She says that existing in her condition is equivalent to living inside of a ball with fire on the inside of it, okay? Inescapable horrors and mental and intellectual and physical pain, all right? Well, because she had them fucked up again and lost continuity, girl, she must have got that phone call from Tony Buzbee. So then she tried to retract what she said on recordings by claiming that she was scared. You know, these blacks had showed up to her front porch, girl, okay? She was under duress, okay? And that the court's gonna have to charge everything that she had done told them private investigators to the goddamn game, all right? Well, despite dropping her lawsuit, recanting her statements on multiple occasions, the whole nine, and being sued again, the goofy bitch turned around, y'all, and then got her ass on TikTok, girl, dragging Miss Jay-Z, girl. And you know what Jay-Z done did, girl? Redragged her ass back by amending his initial defamation lawsuit against her and her attorney, girl. Okay, girl. They going for the triple, quadruple uppercuts in this situation. So we're going to get into the amended complaint. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm Hotep. What's going on, Deshaun? Hey, y'all. Hey, Crystal. I'm just trying to figure out, girl, how you around here utilizing a pseudonym of Jane Doe, but you around here shaking autistic ass up and down TikTok, girl. How you trying to run down on somebody as a whole Jane Doe, but you around here shaking neurospicy ass down here to the good old TikTok? Ban her shit, Elania, or whatever them Chinese African Congo government down there running this TikTok grid. Protect her for what? Jane Doe is outside, Miss Ladies. We just trying to make it make sense. So let's read into this complaint. It's quite lengthy, girl. It's 53 pages. Of course, we're going to kind of, you know, scoop through what we need to scoop through to get into the meat and the potato shop. But Jay-Z is not playing with this bitch, girl. I already told y'all, girl. She keep it up, girl. And the courts keep taking their precious time, girl. Miss Jane Doe gonna find herself floating, bitch. Okay, she's gonna be a floater on the go. Oh, yes, God. Shout out to my baby father, Todd, for the old nasty piece of child support check. Thank you, baby father. You guys know all donation information is in the description box below, baby. Show the king some love, bitch. I've been gone for a minute, but now the bitch is back with the jump off. All right, let me share my screen. Run those likes up. Moderators, please encourage everybody to like. We need all the likes, girl. We always need the likes, the 400 plus. 400 plus, girl. 400 likes is the bare minimum. We need all of that. All right. Y'all been loving my eyebrows, girl. These eyebrows are so bitchy. Like when I be having these slashes in my brows, I be feeling like a true bitch. It's like a spirit that be on these eyebrows, girl. It be bringing out the total bitch in me. All right. As you guys can see here, Sean Corey Carter versus Anthony Tony Buzbee. And of course, wait a minute. Is this the right shit? Do I got the right shit, honey? Oh, yeah. And Miss Jane Ho. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's skim through the introduction. I don't know if we need all that. No, we don't. Okay, we can start right here. Like, it's some good shit right here. All right. Mr. Carter's living nightmare began in the fall of 2024 when, in furtherance of their conspiracy to defraud and extort Mr. Carter, Doe and her co-conspirator attorneys, Anthony Buzbee, David Fortney, and Anthony G. Buzbee, LP, along with the Buzbee Law Firm and Antigone Curis and Curis Law PLLC, publicly filed an explosive, false, and malicious complaint against Celebrity A, the impossibility and indeed absurdity of which is surpassed only by its vile malevolence. Then, in furtherance of the conspiracy to defraud, they sent Mr. Carter an extortionate and menacing private demand letter in a wanton attempt to leverage and coerce Mr. Carter into making a substantial payoff, which these malicious co-conspirators presented as the only path for Mr. Carter to avoid the public unmasking of Mr. Carter as the previously unnamed Celebrity A with the public litigation of a horrific and potentially career-ending, albeit false claim of actual assault of a minor. Demand letters on behalf of Jane Doe and John Doe, respectfully. Oh, we're finally going to see the demand letters. I don't think we've ever seen those yet, girl. So we're going to check those out before this is all said and done, you guys. When their extortionate demand letter failed to yield a financial windfall, they sought, and after Doe told Buzbee, with whom she had never spoken before he filed Doe's original complaint or sent the demand letter, that Mr. Carter did not actually assault her, Buzbee pushed her towards going forward with the false story against Mr. Carter to make the case better and to get them and her lawyers more money. Specifically, Buzbee, quote, brought Jay-Z into it. Those are Jane Doe's own words. Buzbee jettisoned his legal and ethical responsibilities and urged Doe to go forward with naming Mr. Carter with full knowledge as imparted to him by Doe that Mr. Carter had never assaulted Doe, and Doe's entire story as it related to Mr. Carter was completely fabricated. Doe has now voluntarily confessed directly to investigators in her own words as captured on a recording that the story she and her co-conspirator attorneys brought before the world in court and on global television was just that, a false, malicious lie. Okay, they have all those examples and everything down there. Doe has admitted that Mr. Carter did not assault her and that indeed it was Buzbee himself whom she met to discuss her allegations for the first time at a coffee shop in Houston on the day of her maliciously false NBC News interview, who pushed her to propagate the false narrative of the sexual assault by Mr. Carter in order to leverage a maximum payday. In fact, when asked directly if Mr. Carter assaulted her, she responded no. And she admitted to the conspiracy orchestrated by Buzbee when she told the investigators that, quote, Buzbee brought Jay-Z into it. Doe was crystal clear when she admitted that Buzbee was the one who pushed her to go forward with the false accusations against Mr. Carter. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I was thinking, you guys, hold on. I was thinking, This must be why Jay-Z got Beyonce working like a motherfucking workhorse girl. Okay, I was thinking, why the hell Beyonce out here selling jeans, belt buckles, hair bows? She on tour for the 70th damn time, girl. She selling whiskey and liqueur, girl. It's because Jay-Z is working her ass down to the bone to support these damn legal tabs from his attorney Alex Spiro, bitch. Okay, Beyonce out there riding the horses and flying around the damn arena, girl, because she's got to do her fair share of paying her percentage, baby, of her ninjas legal fees, girl. We finally done cracked the code, girl, because we all been trying to figure out why is Beyonce working like she ain't never worked in her damn life. I was saying earlier this year, Beyonce selling us everything but ass at this damn point, girl. Girl, what is really the whole tea? Now we know what it gives. Doe has fraudulently attempted to backtrack and recant her statements in a declaration she submitted in California federal court. Doe tries but fails to claim the investigators misrepresented her statements. As discovery in this case will demonstrate, however, there is indisputable proof in the form of an audio recording of Doe's admission that the false claims against Mr. Carter were part of a conspiracy. And this recording will be presented to the jury to demonstrate not only that Doe's statements in her complaint and on global television were willfully defamatory, but also to prove the conspiracy by ringleader Buzbee to maliciously name Mr. Carter in a lawsuit without even a shred of evidence to support the grotesque and false allegations brought against him. At a minimum, it will show the Buzbee defendant's conduct clearly violated Alabama rules of professional conduct. And 4.1, given that Buzbee and the Buzbee law firm pursued these harmful allegations knowing that they were false and repeatedly reasserted them in court filings. The defendants took zero action to mitigate the damages they caused by the filing and global broadcasting of false allegations against Mr. Carter. Instead, they compounded this egregious harm when Buzbee and Fortney's co-counsel, a prominent New York attorney in the now dismissed false action against Mr. Jay-Z, doubled down and threatened to publicize yet another false public statement by Doe and Mr. Carter's California lawsuit against Buzbee if Mr. Carter revealed that Doe had fully retracted her false allegations and admitted that she was encouraged to lie by her co-conspirators, Buzbee and Fortney. My God, today. Fortunately and clearly, unexpectedly, from their perspective, the defendants were met with nothing but righteous resolve at every turn by Mr. Carter. He stood steadfast, publicly decried the lies being put forth against him, and against all odds beat back the evil conspiracy spearheaded by Doe and her malevolent, soulless lawyers, driving them back into the shadows from which they came. Indeed, Mr. Carter's courage, which came at a great personal and professional cost, forced their hand, leaving the defendants with zero choice but to voluntarily dismiss the false and malicious complaint on February 14th of this year, with prejudice and without settlement. Contrary to their valid claims, the only reason the defendants dismissed the complaint is because they understood with complete certainty that their conspiracy had failed. They knew they could never prove the allegations made by Doe were true because they were not. And ultimately, they would be unable to extort the big payout. Baby, y'all better thumbs up, girl. We're reading today, girl. We're reading. Mr. Carter does not commence this action lightly. Following Doe's admission, she fabricated her claims against Mr. Carter. She and her lawyers have continued to perpetuate their lies, continuing through further extortionate threats and demands by Buzbee as recently as February 28th of this year. Even after all that he had endured, Mr. Carter chooses not to expose the identity of Jane Doe, his malicious and wrongful accuser in this complaint. But this courtesy must not be mistaken for weakness. Okay, Jay-Z's saying, baby, don't get it up. Mr. Carter brings his lawsuit to hold Doe and her co-conspirators accountable, knowingly and willfully peddling false and malicious allegations against Mr. Carter. Their actions have caused severe personal and professional harm to Mr. Carter, from which he may never recover. Indeed, the effects of their scheme continue to reverberate, inflicting specific and quantifiable reputational and financial damage on Mr. Carter in this district and globally. Okay, I don't think we need the parties, girl. The bitch got a pseudonym in a trailer park. Rhea. Let's get into more meat and the potatoes. We can skip through the jurisdiction and venue. Y'all run those lights up. Okay, let's get to allegations common to all claims for relief. In September of 17th of 2024, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested and charged in a 3-count indictment with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. While most people saw, y'all know I got a curved language for these damn AI bots. While most people saw the charges against Combs as a abhorrent tragedy, Buzbee saw dollar signs. Upon information and belief about a week after charges against Combs were announced publicly, Buzbee reached out to Andrew Bond Arsdale, an attorney and principal of his eponymous firm, Law Group, in order to solicit civil claims against Combs. Arsdale's primary business is Reciprocity Industries, LLC, a legal marketing firm. Reciprocity generates client leads by soliciting them through targeted advertisements on television and social media. Reciprocity's advertisements direct potential clients to Reciprocity's call center, which it operates from a low-slung building in Montana. Baby, that Addict Spirit go, girl, talking that shit, being slick at that mouth, girl. For intake and allegedly vetting. According to Van, Reciprocity has about 70 employees to answer phones around the clock and other employees to develop cases, okay? Remember the 1-800 number, all that shit? That was being done through the Reciprocity's law firm. As part of their strategy to locate plaintiffs to sue Sean Combs and anyone who attended the same party as Combs in September 2024, Reciprocity's Ava Law and the Buzbee defendants entered into an agreement whereby Reciprocity agreed after intaking a potential plaintiff to forward the leads to both Avalon and the Buzbee defendants. Reciprocity is a controversial player within an already controversial industry. In 2021, a former Reciprocity employee blew the whistle on Reciprocity's aggressive tactics in the Boy Scouts sexual abuse case. The whistleblower submitted an affidavit revealing this here, quote, she only rejected approximately 10 out of the 6,000 claimants that she spoke to. Reciprocity paid her $11 to $12 an hour and a $200 weekly bonus if she signed up 20 claimants and an additional $100 bonus for every 10 claimants she signed up after the initial 20. Reciprocity would keep track of numbers using whiteboards everywhere in the office on which numbers of claims were written. Wow. The contract the claimant signed authorized Reciprocity to keep 40% of any amount awarded. Wow. Reciprocity told employees that they could push through proofs of claim without the claimant's signatures. In those cases, claimant signatures were electronically affixed to proofs of claims by copying their signatures from their contracts and pasting them onto their proof of claims. When claimants changed their mind about pursuing a claim or were told they did not qualify, employees were instructed to, quote, leave the claim on file, but to inform the client that their claim had been canceled even though they had not. At times, employees, quote, were told to change the details of a caller's story in order to make their claims seem more valuable. Wow. Wow. And let me tell y'all, I've been all on Netflix this weekend, girl, watching all this true crime shit in the medical industry, in the judicial system, girl. I am now under the full belief, girl, that the people within these industries and who act as public servants, who are actually righteous, who actually are good-hearted, who are humane, whether they're doctors, governors, politicians, lawyers, etc., girl, that the group of those folk who are righteous are a minority, girl. I'm talking Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, Lord, let me go find 10 good niggas in Sodom and Gomorrah before you blow this motherfucker to smithereens, Lord. But that the majority of these industries, girl, are ran by Luciferians and Satanists and irrational capitalists, girl. Okay? People who choose the dollars and personal gain over the quality of life for the collective and over the well-being of the majority, girl. That seems like the bigger pool than it should be, girl. And it's actually very terrifying that these are the systems, the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the legal system, girl, that we're all subjected to. And the biggest receipt of that is looking at what's happening right now under this current administration, girl, how you can just discard executive judges, girl. You can discard and pretty much create your own laws. You can be given qualified immunity and do as you please, bitch, and literally run an entire tyranny. It's insane, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Well, not if me and my band of witches can help it. I'll keep you guys updated on that. The Buzbee defendants hire reciprocity to solicit Alabama residents to bring claims against Diddy. Upon information and belief on September 25th of 2024, the Buzbee defendants hired reciprocity to solicit potential plaintiffs to bring claims against Combs. Reciprocity, acting on the express instructions it received from the Buzbee defendants, solicited potential plaintiffs in Alabama and elsewhere with targeted advertisements on Instagram and Facebook. For instance, reciprocity at the Buzbee defendants' instruction used Facebook and Instagram to disseminate an advertisement proclaiming that, quote, if you've been silenced, now is the time to find your little shaky ass voice. Another Facebook and Instagram advertisement quoted this, quote, were you affected? Were you infected? And contains a link to, quote, check if you qualify. Each advertisement contains an AI-generated image of Combs, two of which show Combs in a jail cell, as you guys can see here from those said exhibits. Hi, everybody, and happy Mother's Day. The Buzbee defendants, through reciprocity, targeted Alabama residents with these and other advertisements on Facebook and Instagram. Moreover, the Buzbee defendants paid for and generated a 1-800 sexual abuse hotline that Alabama residents were encouraged to call if they thought they had a claim against Combs and anyone who attended the same party as Combs. The Buzbee defendants set up this free-to-caller 1-800 number as opposed to utilizing their local phone numbers in order to attract callers from outside of their home states, including callers from Alabama. Online and telephone responses to the Buzbee defendants' ads would flow to Van Arsdale's Boiler Room call center, where an employee would walk the caller through a questionnaire titled Buzbee Sean Combs Abuse. In September of 2026, on a social media platform, Buzbee shared a post that informed readers that the Buzbee law firm has been associated by the ABA Law Group, I'm going to say ABA, the ABA Law Group, to act as lead counsel to pursue claims on behalf of more than 50 individuals. And although Buzbee has only allegedly begun pursuing claims against Combs one day earlier, ominously warning that many other individuals will be impacted. Then on September 26th of 2024, the Buzbee defendants issued a press conference stating that the Buzbee defendants would be filing lawsuits on behalf of well over 100 alleged victims, you guys, and would be holding a press conference on October 1st of 2024. In the September 29th, 2024 press release, the Buzbee defendants stated that in upcoming press conference, they would discuss the various state laws that apply and publish the sexual assault hotline. 1-800 27474 and explain the process to witnesses or victims when they called the number. The Buzbee defendants also proclaimed that information would be made available for the first time to the public regarding claims made by victims against Sean Diddy Combs and other alleged perpetrators where rape, sexual assault, and sexual exploitation are alleged. To maximize media attention, the press release teased that the details provided at the conference will include information regarding other potential defendants. On October 1st of 20, hold on, this curl is really hiding the slash in my brow. Let me clip her one more time. Y'all run them lights up, child. She caught blocking my slash. Okay, there it is. There it is. She needed that. On October 1st of 2024, 6 days after Buzbee and Mr. Van Arsdale agreed to work together, they held a joint news conference at which Mr. Buzbee, speaking in front of the sign featuring Reciprocity's 1-800 number, announced they were representing 120 corroborated vetted clients who intended to sue the Combs. The Combs, you guys, that's hilarious. Here's a transcript, all in exhibits down there. The Buzbee law firm advertised the 1-800 number as opposed to their local Houston number with the specific intent of attracting callers who were not local to Houston, but in numerous states, including those in Alabama, like that fake-ass, body-shivering-ass Jaden Doe. Buzbee spent much of 2024 on a media tour to generate more claims. To that end, between October 1st and October 14th, Buzbee sat for no less than 10 interviews with national media, including the October 1st, 2024 interview with Chris Cuomo and October 2nd, 2024 interview by Elizabeth Wagmeister. What a fucking name. Can we give it up to white people, girl? We know that black folk, we get our fair share of credit, girl, for the creativity, girl, but the whiteness that be on some of these last names, girl. Wagmeister, girl, that kind of got a real crispy, old rocking chair, deer hunting ass energy on it, baby. Wagmeister. Could y'all imagine that my last name, Davion Wagmeister? Ain't that got some shit, baby? Baby, you know I'm coming with some shit, girl. If my last name is Wagmeister, baby. All right? And then he has the laundry list, girl, of all of these damn interviews, girl. From Law and Crime to True Blue Streaming to Stephen A. Smith to Sean Altwood to TMZ to Pierce Morgan, girl, to NBC News with Chloe. It goes on and on and on. Upon information and belief, defendant Buzbee was referring to Reciprocity's team of nearly 100 employees assigned to vet the veracity of alleged victims' claims when he made numerous media appearances describing his and the Buzbee law firm's supposed vetting process. Although Buzbee is admitted to practice in the state of New York, Buzbee was never admitted to practice in the Southern District of New York, which encompasses Manhattan. Moreover, Fortney is not admitted to practice in New York State or the Southern District either. God damn. Nevertheless, and as discussed below, in their desire to file suit in the waning days of the extended statute of limitations provided for in the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law, the defendants conspired to make use of curious admission and consequent electronic filing across the Southern District of New York to file the fraudulent and baseless claims against Mr. Carter in federal court in a public filing available to anybody with a Pacer account. Shout out to Pacer. In doing so, Curious furthered the aims of the conspiracy by becoming a direct participant in her co-defendant scheme against Mr. Carter and aiding and abetting their actions to Mr. Carter's significant financial and personal detriment. Indeed, the judges in the Southern District of New York have opined that the Buzbee defendants used Curious to hide from the courts that they are not admitted to practice in the Southern District, girl. So here it is, you have a sham attorney going out of his way in no way, shape, or form to vet the allegations by people who are calling into this 1-800 number that they done put up, girl, who's filing civil claims against people about criminal behavior while also doing criminal shit themselves. Make it make sense. Y'all, I gotta take a swish of water, girl. This reading is getting me parched. I need y'all to run the likes up. And if you're new here, I need you to subscribe up. And if you love me, I need you to donate up. To do all the things in the name of love, my God. All right? Notably, this was not the only time that Buzbee utilized this tactic. For example, the Buzbee defendants in Ava law firm shadow litigated another lawsuit against Combs and his entities using Curious's electronic credentials, such as in this case here, McCrary versus Combs. In the McCrary case, district judge, whatever the fuck her last name is, issued an order denying Buzbee's 11th hour motion to appear in the case pro hac vice or pro hac vice and motion to withdraw his representation. In her order, the judge found that 1, Buzbee had previously improperly filed numerous actions in this court and scores of submissions in the case and other cases using the ECF credentials of another attorney without having even applied for regular or pro hac vice admission to the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. 2, Curious's complicity in Buzbee's improper conduct may be grounds for sanction. Girl, they were trying to legally jump this nigga and trying to do it by getting one over in the courts of the Southern District of New York. Buzbee's application for admission to the Southern District was belated and denied because he had appeared in cases without seeking admission. Fourthly, Curious filed an undated declaration attesting that Buzbee told her that he was never denied admission by any court despite the grievance committee's orders, which was annexed to Buzbee's affidavit in support of his PHB motion, doing just that. Fifthly, Mr. Buzbee improperly filed litigated this case using the ECF credentials of local counsel whose apparent complicity in his improper conduct may be grounds for sanctions. And sixthly, plaintiff's counsel is on notice that for the failure to comply with the procedural rules that govern the Southern District of New York and her ethical responsibilities will have grave consequences. Attempting to justify her misconduct, Curious filed a letter to the judge stating that her assertion that Buzbee improperly filed and litigated the case using Curious's ECF credentials is simply not true. Curious represented that, quote, I reviewed all documents in this case and filed them under my ECF because I approved them. On March 28th of 2025, the judge, acutely aware of the games Buzbee and Curious were playing, issued an order to show cause requiring Buzbee's local counsel, Curious, to explain, quote, why she should not be sanctioned for making false and or misleading representations to the court. In her order to show cause, the judge stated that Ms. Curious, quote, who represents in her letter that she reviewed and approved all documents before filing them on ECF, filed a document that directly contradicts. Oh, God damn. You can't make up this lying spirit on these blondes, girl. The blonde is a lie. The ponytail is a lie. Baby, the pantsuit is a lie. Baby, this is a lying spirit on everything. Baby, these people can't even keep up with the continuity of their lies. So not only is Jane Doe a lying asshole, Tony Buzbee is a lying asshole, but he's in some weird ass backwood legal matrix with a bunch of other unethical, weird ass, underscoring ass group of attorneys, girl. They got a whole legal boule going on down there to the legal firms. Baby, this is a hot sugar mess. So the judge in response stated this. Buzbee then moved to withdraw his admission even though he never had been admitted. And I issued an order in which I simply reminded you, counsel, of your obligations to be careful about what you are filing. And I did call to your attention the displeasure about things being filed that had been signed only by Mr. Buzbee, but that were filed under your ECF credentials. And rather than just taking to heart my calling to your attention potential issues, which may be happening in other cases as well, you chose to double down, you silly whore. And you filed a letter with the court saying, quote, I review everything and I approve it for accuracy. I don't know how you could have reviewed the Pro Hac Vice application and confirmed its accuracy when right on top of your affidavit, which is undated and simply signed, there was an affidavit from Mr. Buzbee saying that he had been denied admission. Wow, 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 to the Southern District, which is directly at odds with what he reportedly told you, girl. I am crying. I am crying. Wow. And girl, this case is drama in every which a turn, girl. Young and the sanctioned, okay? In sum, it is clear that Curious joined the conspiracy to extort Mr. Carter, which was hatched in Alabama, and quickly became an integral part of the scheme by using her admission to the Southern District of New York, weaponizing the civil justice system. In other words, Curious knowingly and intentionally filed a complaint against Mr. Carter, which contained false allegations for the purpose of leveraging a settlement for a conspiracy that was hatched in country-ass Alabama. Upon information and belief on or around October 14th of last year, Doe's goofy ass, a resident of the Southern District of Alabama, retained Van Hartsdale's law firm, Law, and to pursue claims against Combs. One version of Doe's initial contact with the defendants is that she was connected to Law when she contacted Reciprocity last fall, after responding to a Facebook ad, according to Van Hartsdale. The geographical reach of this Facebook ad and the many others like it was not limited to Houston or any one particular state. To the contrary, the relevant ads were intended to be, and in fact were delivered to and received by users in numerous states, including Alabama. Doe's father, however, tells a different story. According to Doe's father, Fortney initially solicited Doe as a client. Baby, lock the whole family, girl, and the attorneys up, girl. This story, they did get these hoes life in prison, girl. They are a danger. They are a public health issue, girl. They are domestic terrorists, girl. The spirit of principalities and lying on these people is crazy. Fortney initially solicited Doe as a client while she was in Alabama, and that Doe did nothing to start this. That's according to Doe's own father. Doe's daddy is the only one who be telling the truth, girl. Buzbee gonna have to find a way to get rid of the brakes on Doe's father's car, girl. He gonna have to find a way to unscrew and unhinge the tires, baby, and just have the daddy just, scurry off a cliff accidentally, girl. Because as long as Doe's daddy is around, baby, that meddling ass daddy, baby, gonna be telling all the damn truth, fucking up the whole scheme, girl. He been telling the truth from the time he entered into the group chat, child. I'm scraping. Either way, Van Hartsdale testified that the Law vetted Doe's story. Van Hartsdale claims Doe was interviewed and evaluated by an intake specialist as well as at least one attorney. You guys, please thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Upon information and belief, Doe was within the Southern District of Alabama while being interviewed and while her claims were being evaluated, and no evidence had been proffered that would call this fact into doubt. In other words, the Buzbee defendants, through their employees and agents, directly communicated with Doe in the Southern District of Alabama, where she was residing for purposes of supposed vetting, and she responded to the communication while in the Southern District of Alabama. The conspiracy against Mr. Carter was therefore hatched within the Southern District of Alabama, as it rose out of the activities directly related to and arising from contacts with Doe in the Southern District of Alabama. Indeed, Doe only traveled to Texas once, and all of her other communications with her co-defendants occurred while she was in the Southern District of Alabama. Upon information and belief within days, if not hours, of Doe retaining Abba, a draft of Doe's complaint was sent to the Buzbee defendants. Buzbee had been since testified that after he received the draft complaint from Abba, the Buzbee law firm also engaged in further rigorous due diligence to investigate the veracity and legal viability of those claims, which included, quote, at least 2 attorneys who interviewed the plaintiff and fact-checked various aspects of her account. Upon information and belief, Doe was in the Southern District of Alabama when the Buzbee defendants allegedly interviewed Doe. The Buzbee law firm also engaged a retired police detective to gather facts about elements of Jane Doe's claims. Declaration of Anthony Buzbee was dated here and is in the exhibit, which, assuming truthful, would have had to include contacting individuals in and or the investigator traveling to the Southern District of Alabama. Mr. Carter will prove at trial, however, that either A, this vetting never occurred at all. It could not have. There is literally not a single corresponding relevant piece of empirical evidence nor circumstantial that corroborate Jane Doe's story, on top of admitting she guessed, lied, exaggerated, and was coerced by her own damn attorney, while her father also told a whole NBC journalist that this never happened, bitch. And if it did happen, it happened right in this bitch's head from the living room, watching the year 2000 BMAs. Okay? On the 4x4 television on the dresser. Mr. Carter will prove at trial, however, that this vetting never occurred at all, or B, the vetting uncovered the falsity of those allegations. Like I was saying before, I don't even know how Buzbee took on the case when a whole other law firm passed the goddamn case up. That should have been a sign of the times right then and there. But that's only what an integral, responsible attorney would have did. Of course, it was never supposed to get this far with Jay-Z. They were literally hoping on a outside payout and settling this matter before it even became a thing. That's why he didn't bother to that, and why this law firm that he was in conspiracy with didn't care, girl. They were literally banking on celebrities, just not wanting to be bothered, not wanting their reputations harmed, right, wrong, got indifferent, and just giving them a check to leave them the fuck alone. Then they fucked around and found the fuck out. And I also don't believe that Jay-Z would have been this passionate, girl, as a single soul entity. I think Jay-Z would have initially responded to this lawsuit. I think, of course, he would have did what he had to do to win. But I don't think he would really be standing on Jane Doe's neck to the degree in which he is, which he has every right to do, if he wasn't also Beyonce's husband, girl. He knows he got to fight this hoe down to the ground and potentially pop her ass, if that's what it all comes down to, girl. In the name of the Beyonce brand, girl. Because y'all know the queen of a squeaky clean reputation, girl. Beyonce lives for that, girl. Okay? Her and Matthew live for some squeaky clean public image, child. So I believe that a part of Jay-Z fighting tooth and nail ain't just because he's so grieved. I think he also trying to keep Solange from going upside his motherfucking head, girl, in the elevator again. You know, we know it was $1 billion and 20,000 on the elevator, girl. I don't know why Beyonce didn't mention Solange 20,000 and Flawless, girl. Okay, keep it all in the family, Beyonce. Why you didn't mention Solange 20,000 on the elevator? It's $1 billion and 20,050 cents on the elevator, girl. The 20,050 cents is Solange's, girl. Okay? Why y'all be playing on Solange's head top, girl, like she ain't brought at least 10 grand, girl, to the family pie. All right? Moving along. Mr. Carter will prove at trial that this is total bullshit and that these allegations were manufactured in the Southern District of Who calling me, y'all? It's always somebody calling me, girl. It's always what? Do y'all not be loving y'all men's? Girl, because y'all men's be having too much time to be calling me. Okay, because they trapped in the closet. Let me turn this shit on. Hold on. Let me turn this shit on vibrate, Maria. Something I know y'all be doing when y'all men's be over her with me. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Y'all run those likes up. Run those likes up, y'all. All right. In October of 2024, Doe was suffering with personal and financial hardships. At that time, she had already lost custody of her own damn children, and her parents, whom on information and belief supported Doe, had recently suffered their own financial hardships and filed for bankruptcy protection. Open source information also revealed that Doe has a long history of mental health and substance abuse issues. Girl, remember when Jay-Z's alleged private investigators, girl, had doxed the shit out of Jane Doe and told all that damn lady's business, girl, and brought up all the CPS paperwork and all the crazy house paperwork, girl, that exposed all the damn medications and big wheels that this bitch was riding around her Alabama property, girl, showed that she was a hot mess, girl. This bitch thought she was a mob wife and shit. Her baby daddy thought he was Jesus, girl. He in the crazy house, baby. I'm talking about the bitch crazy. Cuckoo for cuckoo, girl. Okay, so she done lost her damn children. Her parents broken up, fell on hard times, but still telling the truth, girl. And open source information also revealed that Jane Doe had a long history of mental health and substance abuse, girl. A whole crackhead. Desperate to obtain a payday, Doe hired the defendants, including the Buzbee law firm, which had a long history of whipping up a media frenzy with vague and sensational claims against public figures. Together, they hatched a scheme to extort a large payout from Mr. Carter under the threat of devastating harm to his reputation and to his life. As discussed herein, as part of the scheme to defraud and conspiracy to extort Mr. Carter, Doe and her lawyers also filed an anonymous lawsuit claiming she was actually assaulted by Celebrity A. And then Buzbee quickly sent an extortionate demand letter to an attorney for Mr. Carter, alleging that Celebrity A was Mr. Carter and intimating they expected a large settlement to keep Mr. Carter's name out of the suit. When Mr. Carter refused to capitulate to Doe's baseless and obviously extortionate demands, Doe and her co-conspirator attorneys doubled down, weaponizing the civil justice system in an attempt to leverage Mr. Carter by formally naming him in the complaint, which contained utterly false, fabricated, and horrific allegations. And when that also failed, Doe and her co-conspirators resorted to defaming Mr. Carter on global television. A single Google search or public record search by any of the defendants of Jane Doe using her real name would have immediately cast doubt on her credibility by revealing that, amongst other things, quote, 90 days be... Check this. I want y'all to hear this in slow motion. 90 days before this bitch filed her lawsuit against Mr. Carter, Doe had just been in mental health court, you guys. B, about 10 months before filing her lawsuit against Mr. Carter, Doe was charged with assault in the 2nd degree. So everything the bitch is projecting onto Diddy and Sean is really her own tea and her own truth, y'all. C, Doe, according to the public testimony of her psychiatrist, suffers from several mental health disorders, takes multiple prescription medications, and has a history of hallucinations. Oh, baby, we know just how deep those hallucinations go, girl. Those hallucinations got her ass all the way down there to the VMAs, baby. Watching Eminem, girl, perform outside and watching the performance she was watching in her mind from the Jumbotron that did not exist either in the year 2000. And D, on 3 previous occasions, Doe had made unrelated false actual allegations against others, which were either dropped by her or dismissed by the courts. Hardly the history of a credible complainant. So what she did to Jay-Z and Diddy was not even original. This woman had a history of making frivolous, false, sexual assault claims against other individuals, and all of those cases were either dismissed by her or the goddamn courts. The defendant's solicitations in the Southern District of Alabama and elsewhere were successful. According to Reciprocity, it received about 26,000 contacts because of their advertisements, including Jane Doe's. As discussed, Supra, Doe allegedly retained Ava Law on October 14th of last year. Just 6 days later, on October 20th of last year, the defendant sued Sean Diddy Combs and his business entities as well as Doe's 1 through 10. Notably, the defendants were able to file this fraudulent lawsuit with the assistance of co-conspirator Accuser defendants' electronic filing credentials to mask the fact that the Buzbee defendants were not authorized to practice in the Southern District, and they did so for an improper purpose. As part of the defendant's conspiracy to defraud and extort Mr. Carter, Doe's lawsuit implicated unnamed Celebrity A and Celebrity B, refraining from identifying Mr. Carter as a party. Instead, Doe only sued Doe's 1 through 10 as defendants. In doing so, as it would become evident by his subsequent demand letter, Buzbee's first complaint was designed for a collateral advantage, causing Mr. Carter to fear that he must either pay the defendants off or risk being formally named in the complaint and having his life, reputation, and business ruined. In other words, the complaint was the opening salvo to the defendant's extortion scheme, a mere tool to gain leverage over Mr. Carter. Indeed, Van Arsdale has since admitted that although Mr. Carter was not named in the lawsuit, Mr. Carter was Celebrity A and was one of the Doe's 1 through 10. In her original pleading, Doe alleges that she was 13 years old. A friend dropped her off at a radio station. We know all that. After accepting a drink, Doe claims that she was woozy and lightheaded, blah, 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 blah. She ran to a gas station. Her daddy picked her up. He had no record of none of this. A few weeks after filing her complaint, Doe and Buzbee defendants sent Mr. Carter an extortionate letter dated November 5th of last year containing false allegations of foul conduct by Mr. Carter. The Buzbee defendants claims that Fortney and an associate at the Buzbee law firm received Doe's permission to send the demand letter on a phone call, which upon information and belief occurred while Doe was in the Southern District of Alabama on or around November 4th of last year. Many of the allegations in Doe's letter were from the public complaint Doe filed against Combs and Doe's 1 through 10, with the obvious implication that Doe would amend her complaint to add Mr. Carter if he refused to pay up. The defendants utilized the already filed complaint as leverage to extort Mr. Carter into paying them off. Indeed, Doe and her lawyers threatened to take a different course if Mr. Carter did not commit to a confidential mediation to resolve this delicate and important matter by the deadline of November 19th of last year, giving Mr. Carter only a 2-week window before Doe threatened to go public with her false allegations. To avoid both public and criminal exposure, the Buzbee defendant stated that Doe wants something of substance by way of a settlement. However, as discussed, Supra, Doe and her lawyers had already sued Mr. Carter, obeyed as one of the Doe's 1 through 10. The defendant's plan was thus clear. They demanded Mr. Carter either A, pay something of substance to stop Doe from making public the wildly false allegations of sexual assault that would subject Mr. Carter to public humiliation and irreparably harm his reputation, family, career, and livelihood, or B, endure catastrophic financial and personal ruin. The Buzbee defendant statements and correspondences made clear the immediate and real threat of public exposure if Mr. Carter failed to pay. Unwilling to capitulate to the defendant's extortion on November 18th of last year, Mr. Carter filed a lawsuit against Buzbee for extortion and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Mr. Carter explained that Buzbee was shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly horrific allegations against him. On December 8th of last year, Doe, humiliated and exposed by Mr. Carter's lawsuit at Buzbee and Fortney's direction, filed an amended complaint revealing what Mr. Carter understood all along, that one of the anonymous Doe's defendants was a placeholder for Mr. Carter, being utilized as a sword of domiciles to hold over Mr. Carter's head as a threat of what would happen if he did not succumb to the extortion scheme. Doe's amended complaint made wild, horrific, and utterly false allegations against Mr. Carter, identifying him by name as the previously described Celebrity A from the original complaint. The defendant's intent was clear: to cause maximum harm to a wildly successful businessman and at the very top of the music industry and the business world. You know what I'm now wondering? Since there was a Jane 1 through 10, remember when Tony Buzbee had came back and I believe he did a second press conference and he said that celebrities were already settling out of court with them, that they had already started receiving checks and payouts from celebrities? I wonder who the other 8 celebrities were in this Jane Doe situation. There are people who we're never going to know that they had planned on attempting to extort, because those celebrities, unlike Jay-Z, actually paid out the situation so that they could not be harmed by this foolishness. And remember, a lot of Tony Buzbee's lawsuits have been falling apart, including the one featuring Drewski. And what's the other athlete's name? Drewski, and what's my boy? They think he gay, attractive. I forgot that nigga name. But girl, sham. And now Drewski ass is asking for the attorneys to be sanctioned, etc. Girl, for just mentioning him. He has all the evidence to prove, girl, that he was not around for this particular Diddy party, that he was broke, he was nobody, and living and sleeping on his mammy's couch. Happy Mammy Day. Okay? Girl. So these celebrities, girl, are taking these hoes to task, and and rightfully so. The defendant's intent was clear: to cause maximum harm to wildly suffer, blah, 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 blah. Doe goes on global television, falsely accused. Okay, this is an NBC interview, girl. We know all about that. We done broke that down 20,000 times. She admitted that her ass exaggerated, that her ass had lied. There was all these inconsistencies. NBC did their own investigation and found that the bitch was a lying, girl. The daddy had done said the shit never happened. It was a mess. The allegations made by Doe against Mr. Carter are false, defamatory, and easily refutable. Even a simple Google search or basic investigation of the allegations would have proven that those claims were demonstrably false. This begs the question: did the defendants, blinded by greed, file this case without the appropriate vetting, or did the defendants' vetting reveal that those allegations were false and fueled by greed? They filed the lawsuit anyway. Either way, these questions lay bare the motive in filing a suit to extort and defame Mr. Carter. Indeed, the defendants knew full well this was not a triable case, but they filed it anyway because they never had any intention of litigating this matter, further evidenced by the fact that once the extortion scheme was laid bare, they rushed to dismiss the lawsuit with prejudice. In sum, the defendants' claims against Mr. Carter were made in bad faith, with malicious intent, and without probable cause that the claims would in fact succeed. My God. First, although Jane Doe stated that the assault occurred at a residence, public records show that Mr. Carter was at no such residence. Indeed, NBC News easily located photos of Mr. Carter from that evening, showing him at a party at a commercial location, the now closed Lotus nightclub in New York City. Of course, a private nightclub cannot be mistaken for a large white residence with a gate U-shaped driveway that included a large living room or foyer and containing a hallway containing several bedrooms off of it and a bedroom. Even Buzbee was forced to admit to NBC News that Doe does not claim the assault occurred at Lotus nightclub. Second, Doe told NBC News that she spent 20 minutes in the limo before arriving at the residence. However, when pressed about the details in a follow-up interview with NBC News, Doe admitted that she did not know where she was going or even how long the drive took. Worse, she conceded to NBC News that she guessed about the length of the time and the trip had taken in the lawsuit. Thirdly, during her interview with NBC News, Doe described an alleged conversation she had with the singer Benji Madden at the after party for the 2000 VMAs, the night she claimed she had been assaulted. However, Benji Madden's tour schedule, which is publicly available online, proves that Madden and his brother were not even in New York that night, but rather they were touring in Chicago. Further, a representative for Madden confirmed to NBC News that neither he nor his brother Joel attended the 2000 VMAs and that they and their band Good Charlotte were on the tour in the Midwest at that time. When confronted with this evidence during the interview, Doe conceded that she made a mistake in identifying them and that not all the faces at the after party were clear, even though she claimed she had a whole discussion with his boy and his brother about his Last Supper tattoo, the whole nine. Now the bitch talking about, you know, just mental error. Did you take your meds? Did you take your meds? This bitch need to be considered a weapon of mass fucking destruction, girl. They need to have her ass down there to Rikers Island. She need to be down there in the goddamn Area 51 chambers, bitch. They need to, bitches like this girl need to be kept from regular civilians like me and you, girl. We are in danger as long as Jane Doe ass is able to sit out on her front porch and imagine that she done been victimized by somebody. Fourthly, when questioned about the alleged pre-dawn pickup and drive home with Doe, after the alleged assault, Doe's father told NBC News that he does not recall picking up Doe, which unsurprisingly he said would have been something that would definitely stick in my mind. Doe's father also said that he first learned of the alleged assault when Doe was interviewed by NBC News in December and that he did then recall picking Doe up in the middle of the night on one occasion, but it was a local drive, not 5 hours across town and a 10-hour drive total from Alabama to New York. Based on their then address in Rochester, New York, Doe's father would have driven, living in Rochester, would have driven at least 5 hours and 47, almost 6 hours just in one direction to pick her up. It strains crudelty that defendants would have not learned that Doe's father had no recollection of a key aspect of Doe's story during their vetting process. In fact, public records show that Doe previously admitted to fabricating allegations of sexual assault. Notably, there are countless other falsehoods in Doe's allegations. Despite alleging that it took 20 minutes to get from Radio City Music Hall to the after party, public records show that there were no houses matching Doe's description within 20 minutes of Radio City Music Hall. And although Doe implies that Combs hosted the after party, public records show that none of the properties owned by Combs matched Doe's description of the location of the after party. Furthermore, Doe alleges that after the VMAs began, much of the crowd moved inside, but Doe, without a ticket, remained outside with others and watched the VMAs on a jumbotron. This description of events, like many others, is easily refutable. Indeed, the broadcast of the 2000 VMAs, which is publicly available on YouTube, conclusively shows that there was no jumbotron on site. Indeed, the producers of the 2000 VMAs and the NYPD confirmed that there were no jumbotron set up that night, as the producers had applied for a permit to set up a jumbotron for that evening, but the application was denied. Even assuming Doe was outside the VMAs that evening, it was impossible for her to have approached celebrity limousines, as she claims, because publicly available video of the VMAs show that the limousines were only outside of the Radio City Music Hall briefly for celebrity pickup and drop off. In any event, after drop off, the celebrity limousines were moved to an area that was separated from fans by police barricades, as publicly available video of the event clearly show this were not even accessible. My God. NBC News did not air Doe's entire interview, but the full interview contained additional damaging information about Doe's claims and credibility. My God. In a follow-up interview by Doe by NBC, Doe was confronted with the mountain of evidence contradicting her story, which NBC uncovered in less than a week after conducting the initial interview. In response to irrefutable proof of her lies, Doe admitted that she made some mistakes. She then shockingly disavowed the allegations in her complaint about the location of the alleged incident and admitted that she was just guessing. Wow, wow, wow. Even after being confronted with her lies, Doe did not drop her baseless complaint. Instead, she and her co-conspirator insisted on moving forward, committing to submit to a polygraph, something that's not even admissible in a court of law. The defendants have unsurprisingly not revealed whether Doe took or passed her polygraph test. There's been no polygraph test. It is clear that defendants knew Doe was and is a deeply unreliable and untruthful person. Indeed, publicly available records prove two things. One, significant aspects of Doe's allegations are disproven. And two, Doe has made multiple false allegations of actual misconduct in the past. Nonetheless, the defendants chose to use Doe as a prop to extort a payout just 6 days after she hired them. At bottom, there was never any intention to litigate the matter. The defendants weaponized the federal civil court system as a tool to extort Mr. Carter. Doe waited months before dismissing her false claim and did so after being lied to by her attorneys for their own benefit. We're not going to read all of that, girl. It talks about TMZ, what she told TMZ. Matter of fact, let's actually read this. Buzbee, already fully aware of the falsity of those allegations, told TMZ that Doe was not ruling out of filing rape charges against Mr. Carter, and that what happens next is up to my client. It's her case, and what she decides to do, you will find out in due course. Buzbee made these statements before he had even met with Doe. While the defendant's conspiracy ran into some roadblocks, Buzbee remained undeterred. Buzbee signed both complaints and other filings in the action against Mr. Carter without being admitted to the Southern District Bar as required when the district court presiding over, the district judge presiding over the case was advised of this. She ordered Buzbee to file proof of admission to the Southern District on the docket by February 14th. The very next day, Buzbee applied for such admission on February 13th of this year, one day before his deadline to file proof of admission in the Southern District. Buzbee got the news that because he had already filed pleadings in the Southern District without being admitted to the bar of that court in the case at issue here and in more than 20 others, his application for admission, of course, was denied. Buzbee also instructed to attach a copy of the denial order to any subsequent application for admission in a particular case in the Southern District, girl. So they done made this man embarrass himself going forward, girl, that anytime he wants to try a case in the Southern District of New York, girl, he's got to tell the tribunal that he has already tried to get one over them, which is going to shape their biasness in terms of if they're going to let his pale ass, work their courts with his goofy self. Faced with this inability to comply with the judge's order in the case against Mr. Carter and facing the threat of punishment by the court, Buzbee dispatched Fortney to Alabama to meet with Doe the same day, namely February 13th of this year. Fortney returned to Alabama on the same day upon information and belief. He did so at Buzbee's direction for the express purpose of trying to cover up their conspiracy by deceiving Doe about the real reason for seeking dismissal of the Southern District case. This was not a normal and ethical meeting between an attorney and his client in furtherance of Doe's representation. To the contrary, Fortney traveled to Alabama in furtherance of the conspiracy at issue in this lawsuit. Upon information and belief, during the meeting, Fortney falsely, maliciously, and manipulatively told Doe that the case against Mr. Carter needed to be dismissed because Mr. Carter had made threats against Doe's life. Wow. And it was too dangerous to continue with the case. Of course, no such threats have ever been made. Rather than Buzbee, defendants and curious defendants were desperate to withdraw their fraudulent case to avoid being punished in court for filing a false pleading without Buzbee even being admitted in the Southern District, jeopardizing their inability to continue with the more than 20 other cases they had pending in the Southern District. Thus, on the evening of February 14th, the very next day, Doe quietly filed her voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. Then on February 21st of 2025, during an interview in Alabama, Doe admitted to investigators that she had made the whole goddamn thing up about Mr. Carter and further admitted that she conspired with the defendants to pursue the false claims. In short order, the defendants were made aware of Doe's confession, but shamefully, their threats and extortion aimed at Mr. Carter did not end. Rather, on on Friday, February 28th of this year, after Doe admitted to fabricating her claim against Mr. Carter, and after Buzbee, Fortney, and Curious became aware of those admissions, a prominent New York attorney serving as the Buzbee defendant's co-counsel called an attorney for Mr. Carter. During that call, the Buzbee defendant's New York co-counsel threatened that if Mr. Carter's attorneys filed anything in Mr. Carter's pending extortion and defamation case in California against Buzbee related to the statements made by Doe, fully inculpating Mr. Carter and inculpating her and Buzbee in an extortion conspiracy, the Buzbee would issue a public statement by Doe that, one, she was threatened by Mr. Carter's people since she dropped the lawsuit, and two, she dropped the lawsuit only because she was afraid for her life, and that the allegations she made against Mr. Carter in the lawsuit were all true. So Tony Buzbee's people were going to do everything they were accusing Jay-Z of falsely doing, using intimidation tactics, strong man tactics, strong arm tactics. This is some boule legal mafia shit, bitch. Wow. Fortney traveled to Alabama to convince Doe to drop her lawsuit. He did this by falsely telling Doe that she could get in a lot of trouble, and indeed that Mr. Carter was going to unalive her. Of course, all allegations about Doe's life being threatened by Mr. Carter's people and her newly claimed reasons for dropping the lawsuit are and always were false. When Buzbee, Fortney, and their New York co-counsel said they knew that these statements were false, and ultimately Doe knew that each of these statements were false as well. The Buzbee defendants then pivoted to a new explanation for the dismissal and now claim that Doe only dropped her lawsuit against Mr. Carter in furtherance of a negotiated dismissal. So they done changed their story now. It done went from, oh, she was threatened, he was putting the goons on her ass, to, no, there was a negotiated dismissal agreed to on February 4th of this year. However, this is also untrue. Indeed, the Buzbee defendants counsel acknowledged in writing that there was no settlement. So for all the folk like, Jay-Z settled, there was a check. There was no check, bitch. There was no payout, bitch. There was no nothing, bitch. There was no nothing, bitch. Y'all run the lights up. Run those likes all the way up, y'all. The reasons for the dismissal are clear. The Buzbee defendants knew their conspiracy to extort Mr. Carter had failed, and they were now fearful that they were going to be sanctioned for litigating Doe's lawsuit without being admitted to the Southern District. So they fabricated a story and strong-armed Doe into dismissing her suit. In truth, had Doe... Hold on, I lost my fucking place. In truth, had Doe agreed to dismiss her lawsuit on or about the purported February 4th, 2025 negotiated dismissal, Fortney would not have needed to travel to the Southern District of Alabama on February 13th of this year to convince Doe to drop her lawsuit. Further, Mr. Carter's counsel made clear to the Buzbee defendants that Mr. Carter would never settle Doe's lawsuit or pay any money to resolve it. Mr. Carter's counsel also made clear that he would not dismiss Mr. Carter's lawsuit against Buzbee in California. Thus, the threats of extortion and further defamation continue to this very day, necessitating that Mr. Carter take action to prevent unscrumptious actors from further preying on him. Remember in a few shows ago, girl, I was saying how, you know, in this day and age, we cannot as a public afford to necessarily believe accusers because, for one, these people are not victims. They are accusers first, okay? At least in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the courts. They are accusers. Once the matter has been properly vetted and investigated to determine who is and is not a predator and or perpetrator, then that person can rightfully have the title of a victim. And because there's so much of this buffoonery going on, as we can see from the Tyrone Blackburn lawsuits, the Gloria Allred, the Lisa Bloom lawsuits, the Tony Buzbee's lawsuits, girl, that there are literally people preying on the rich and the powerful. We know the rich and the powerful can do the preying too. We know they can misuse their power, their positions, their privilege, etc., girl. But the praying works both ways. And in this era, people want their 15 minutes. People want to be famous. People wanting to get rich quick, girl. We cannot afford to just be believing anybody. And people like this raggedy Alabama country big wheel riding ass bitch make it hard, girl, for genuine, her and her attorneys, her co-counsels, girl, make it hard for genuine, real folk who have been victimized. And it's a shame and it's a scandal. I'm going to always say that the courts need to start locking liars up. People should not be able to just come forward, make crazy ass claims against people publicly and in public filings, and then be able to walk their ass free, girl. Okay? And I got a feeling that if the courts don't get in front of this shit and make some provision to really penalize people who do this, and also an attempt to prevent people from doing this, that it's going to be a lot of street justice being had, baby. It's going to be a whole lot of street justice being had. Fuck what you heard. Those malicious lawsuits and it demonstratively false allegations that Mr. Carter actually assaulted her caused Mr. Carter, check this out, y'all, a lot of money was lost. Caused Mr. Carter to suffer actual and special damages, including but not limited to harm to his personal and professional reputation and harm to his business entity, Roc Nation, which resulted in his business suffering $20 million in losses. And that's not all, representing a minimum fee guarantee, while the full fee would have been many millions of dollars had the contract been performed. In addition to out-of-pocket loss and emotional harm, humiliation, and harassment, Mr. Carter individually is inextricably tied to his business, Roc Nation, which he co-founded. He is the control person of a 50% owner of Roc Nation. Mr. Carter is Roc Nation. Damages to one constitute damages to the other. In an industry dominated by personalities and relationships, those false allegations had the potential to cause, and in fact did cause, significant damages to Mr. Carter and his business interests. Furthermore, it was incredibly painful for Mr. Carter and his wife, Beyonce, to sit down and talk to their children, one of whom is at an age where her friends would surely see the press and ask questions about these claims to discuss the allegations made by Doe. Shout out to Blue Ivy Man. Sad, sad, sad. Indeed, Mr. Carter mourns his children's loss of innocence, robbed from them by these false allegations. In particular, Mr. Carter's oldest child is near to the age that Doe claims to have been when she alleges these heinous acts occurred, making these false allegations even more painful. Simply put, Mr. Carter is heartbroken that his children must now think about their father in this way, especially at their young age. The defendant's actions also undermine Mr. Carter's relationships and his company, Roc Nation's relationships with their business in the sports and entertainment industry. For example, in violation of Wikipedia's rules, Buzbee directed his employees to edit Wikipedia pages to enhance Buzbee's image and damage Mr. Carter's and Roc Nation's reputations. Users with an IP address directly linked to the Buzbee law firm made over 100 positive edits to Buzbee's Wikipedia page. It is undisputed that Roc Nation and Mr. Carter have significant and extensive agreements to produce entertainment programs for certain sporting events. After the defendants filed Doe's lawsuit, the media reported that other businesses could end their deals with Roc Nation and would likely force these business partners to speak out and address how the allegations would affect or even end their business relationship. This is exactly the result of defendants' intended banking on the fact that Mr. Carter would fear the reputational assassinations, cave and pay. As predicted Immediately after Buzbee and his co-conspirators went public with those false accusations, Roc Nation and Mr. Carter lost other contracts in the sports and entertainment space that would have generated revenues up at least $20 million, representing a minimum fee guarantee, while the full fee would have been many millions of dollars higher had the contract been performed. This is because Roc Nation is essentially an extension of and inseparable from Mr. Carter's personal brand and image. Indeed, at trial, plaintiff will present evidence demonstrating how the extortionate scheme and the false complaint filed in New York resulted in the loss of business opportunities to Mr. Carter personally and have served to preclude him from his new business opportunities across different industries. Moreover, as a result of the defendant's filing of the false lawsuit and other false public statements against Mr. Carter was denied a $55 million personal credit loan. So we have the $20 million loss by this deal that was underway at the time that caved. Now we got a $55 million personal credit line that he was denied for. So what? We're going to run that $80 million. And then as a result of the defendant's filing of the false lawsuit and other false public statements against Mr. Carter's 50% owned consumer brand business with which Mr. Carter is closely associated was also denied a $115 million loan. Girl, we are in the 200 million. And it concerns the loss of proceeds to Roc Nation. Mr. Carter will demonstrate how those losses have directly impacted him financially. Opportunities that existed before are now foreclosed. These quantifiable losses are directly caused by and connected to the false filing in New York federal court. This is why he worked in Beyonce as like a workhorse, girl. Over $200 million plus loss, girl. We ain't even talking about attorney fees, bitch. Finally, social media commentary online responding to Buzbee's public statements about Mr. Carter and accusations against Mr. Carter have caused him harm. For example, people have said, quote, "I can't wait till you join Combs in prison, then later in hell." Quote, "He needs to be in jail." Quote, "Jay-Z needs to be locked up." Quote, "Jay-Z about to go down." Quote, "All of you at Roc Nation, Jay-Z, all of you are going down. Just wait and see." Quote, "Lock Jay-Z up." Other comments have accused Mr. Carter of being a Satanist, a trafficker, a terrorist, and a monster, called Mr. Carter the N-word, and threatened violence against Mr. Carter, his wife, including to unalive or execute them. Wow. Recent social media data shows that defendant's case and the allegations against Mr. Carter have generated 1.3 million mentions and had the potential to be viewed nearly 15 billion times based on an associated user data. The net sentiment score, a metric used to capture whether sentiment about a person, entity, or story is positive, negative, or neutral for that content regarding Mr. Carter, is 94% negative. Wow. So he definitely has been subjected to public scrutiny. And although Mr. Carter's net sentiment score was only 40% to 41% negative in 2022 and 2023, his net sentiment score fell to 79% negative since Doe made her false accusations against Mr. Carter. Baby, they are really pulling this thing off. Buzbee, Doe, and their co-conspirators must answer for all of this, girl. Jay-Z is getting his math together. Okay? Cause of action, malicious prosecution of all defendants. Second cause of action is abuse of process against all defendants. Third cause of action is civil conspiracy against all defendants. Fourth cause of action is defamation against Doe. Wooch. Now check this shit out, y'all. This is where Tik Tok comes into question at. Let me screen grab this. This is where Miss TikTok comes into question, that girl. And even after all of this, girl, big black man threatening little white woman, okay, Shannon Sharp tease, the bitch still popping her shit. Even upon having sufficient grounds to withdraw her false statements against Mr. Carter with the release of the NBC News article, Doe continued to threaten through her attorney Buzbee criminal prosecution against Carter and maintain the lawsuit against Mr. Carter. And Doe still has not stopped. As recently as April 11th of 2025, Doe made a post on TikTok with a lip-synced audio track stating, quote, "You couldn't pay me $1 million to get an apology video out of me. I stand on what the fuck I stand on what I said. Fuck you." Talking big shit, bitch. Okay? Until those goons show up to the front porch, girl. She sliding that ass whipping, girl, to her attorney, baby. By refusing to apologize and continue to stand on what she said, despite all the evidence and indeed her own admissions to the contrary, Doe continues to display a shocking and reckless disregard for the truth that is both intentional and malicious. Doe never had any reasonable grounds to support any truth in her statements and acted with reckless disregard for the truth. In other words, she lied. Tellingly, even after recanting portions of her complaint to the NBC News interview, when pressed to come forward with the truth, she refused. Instead, Doe responded, quote, "What's in it for me?" Wow. According to Mr. Carter, is entitled to an award of all damages available under the law, including compensatory damages, special damages, and punitive damages. Wherefore, Sean Corey Carter respectfully prays for judgment and relief against Jane Doe and Anthony Buzbee, David Fortney, Anthony G. Buzbee, LP, and Jagone Curis and Curis Law, PLLC, and third causes of action as follows. An award assumed and actual damages in an amount to be determined by the finder of fact. An award of punitive damages, reasonable costs, and legal fees pursuant to applicable law, pre- and post-judgment interest as applicable, and any other relief the court deems appropriated. Jay-Z wants a motherfucking jury, a trial by jury, my God, today. My God, today. Y'all, I don't know what to say, baby. Baby, Miss Jane Doe need her ass whooped metaphorically, figuratively. Okay, and all the other illies. This is a mess. And look, I know some of y'all are going to say, Jay-Z ain't no Rose. Jay-Z ain't no look, Linda. Ain't nobody perfect, baby. Okay, everybody got their shit. Okay, but you know, we going through this thing with Jay-Z one case at a time, baby. Okay. We know that there seems to be some bad behavior on Jay-Z's part when it comes to that alleged son of his, and claims by the godmama that Jay-Z and Alex Spiro have been tearing their asses up, girl, since they've been trying to get a DNA swap from him, girl, and then crashed that lady's business and stole her house and all type of shit, baby, to try to ruin them folk lives over there, okay? That's one thing. But this Jane Doe shit is another thing, child. So we got to go case by case, all right? And in this Jane Doe, Tony Buzbee case, baby, I want to see they asses snatched up, girl. Jay-Z put a big Rock Nation foot up they motherfucking ass, baby. Do it for Beyonce. Do it for Remy. Do it for goddamn Blue Ivy, baby. Do it for what's the son name, y'all? Sir Charles, Sir Carter. What's the name of the son, y'all? What's the name of the baby boy? Rumi and who? Is it Sir? Is it just Sir? I don't know what the son name is, girl. We don't. Hold on. Let me look up the son, child. It's just Sir. Just Sir Carter. My God, guys. See, that's how you know it's some Illuminati shit going on, baby. Just Sir. Just below. What is below, girl? Just below. Okay, just sir, my God. Okay, yes, sir, girl. Do it for all the chairmans of Rock Nation, Jay-Z. All right, whoop they motherfucking ass, baby. So Jay-Z done filed a Second Amendment complaint. He want all the smoke. That bitch is continuing to get her new respiciness on TikTok, girl. Jay-Z ain't letting up, girl. Okay, he don't give a damn whether he got to sell Megan Thee Stallion's royalties, girl, to get off in Jane Doe's ass, baby. She went low. He taking her ass to hell with them, baby. So the situation looks like it's going to continue to get gangster as hell. I'm going to continue to, of course, report, girl, all the updates, all the things, girl. It's a hot motherfucking mess. I want to know why Miss Jane Doe is using a pseudonym, but she got her ass out here on Miss TikTok showing her ass. And does anybody else know who she is? Y'all, if y'all know who this bitch is, because see, Jay-Z then was trying to get some Easter eggs, girl, when they quoted her TikTok video, girl. If y'all see a raggedy country bitch from Alabama on TikTok who got a video up, a lip sync audio track that says you couldn't pay me $1 million to get. Hold on, let me see if this is a lip sync video. Are these lyrics? Hold on, girl. We finna do some investigation. Let me see if these are lyrics to a song, girl. We about to narrow this bitch down. Jay-Z can't identify, but we can. Hold on, y'all. Let me type and see if these are motherfucking lyrics. Do y'all know if these are lyrics or not? Let's see here before we get up out of her. Let me see lyrics. Because, see, they know who she is, but they can't put her identity out, girl, because, you know, it's respect to the law. Respect to the law. They can't put her name out, girl, but they damn sure gave her old nasty Easter egg. Let me see here. I'm still here. Nope, these ain't lyrics. So I wonder what that audio might have came from a show and not a song. Or maybe it's a sound bite from somebody else talking shit on the internet. She used it to lip sync to in this video. If y'all find that video, if y'all see that heifer, girl, if y'all see a Jane Doe sighting, girl, y'all email it to me at consciouztv@gmail.com. We got to get up out of her. I'm thinking about coming right back to get into some Megan Thee Stallion teas, girl. Sloppy Radio girl done lost her damn mind. She out there crying about DJ Academics, girl. Her attorney's about to drop her like I told y'all they was going to do, girl. So we might have to come back and get into those things. Until then, there was another video content creator posted about it. Damn, the rabbit hole. There was a video another content creator posted about it. What you mean, Blair? Like, what you mean, Blair? There was a video. What video are you speaking about? Exactly, my love. Because, girl, I want to things, honey. Y'all about to make me go scorch through TikTok, girl. I don't even got a TikTok. I've been looking for a TikTok for days. I was an old nasty Easter egg. Exactly, baby. Okay, we're going to have to transcribe some shit, baby. We're going to put the private investigators on it, girl. Okay, I need the private investigators on TikTok, girl, to get into the quote, you couldn't pay me $1 million to get an apology video out of me. I stand on what I said. F you. Okay, that's the quote we're looking for, girl. That's the superimposed audio that we are looking to identify this country Alabama bitch. If you guys enjoyed yourself, give me all next piece of thumbs up. If you're new here, run up the subscriptions. We do it all here, you guys. We got a lot going on. I still got to jump my ass to Patreon. That's actually what I need to be doing. I need to go ahead and get my Carmelo Anthony updates out the way. And I got another case I want to talk about as well. For those of you who don't know, girl, we do the truth, crime, the spiritual, all that shit over in Patreon, and we keep the shit messy and trendy and pop culture up over her on the main platform channel. All right, all links are in the description box below. If you enjoyed yourself, child, show some love to the Cash App, $Consciouztv, or in paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. Follow me on Instagram. Email me or the T, DM me or the T at those respected handles. I will see you all later. Peace.